When it comes to the financial independence route, your personality type is going to make a difference. For some personality types, it's going to be easier, and for others, it's just going to be more challenging. And in this video, I want to go through which are the best and worst personality types for the FIRE route. So to start off, we're going to use the Myers-Briggs types as our template. And if you don't know what the Myers-Briggs types are, basically there's 16 different personality types that indicate, one, how people perceive the world, and two, how they make decisions. Now, before we jump into this, I do want to make a disclaimer. The Myers-Briggs system is not foolproof, and just because you have a certain type doesn't mean that you for sure can or cannot go the FIRE route. Some people will have a borderline type, and for them, it's obviously going to be more nuanced. This is just a general guide that I picked up from my experience, but that said, there's little doubt in my mind that some personality types will have it easier than others. If you have a few minutes and you haven't taken the test, pause this video, take the test, and come back. It probably takes 5 or 10 minutes, and there are like many places you can probably take it for free. But basically, the layout of the types will go something like this. First, there's the introversion-extroversion spectrum. If you go to a party where you don't know a whole lot of people, well, introverts are generally going to be drained by that experience. An extrovert is going to be energized by the same thing. Then there's a sensing-intuitive spectrum. If you like to learn something by actually doing it, then you're a sensing type. And if you rather learn it by reading a book or something, then you're an intuitive type. Then there's a thinking and feeling spectrum. A great way to gauge this is how you give your opinion to someone else. Do you say, I think something something, or do I feel something something? Lastly, there's the perceiving judging spectrum. Now, if you find yourself generally running late to appointments, you're a perceiving type. If you tend to be on time or early, then you're the judging type. So a combination of these 8 categories gives us the 16 different personality types, and you can see them listed here. So which personality types have it easier than others doing the FIRE route? Well, the answer will really depend on the last 2 letters of your type. In my experience, it honestly doesn't make too much of a difference if you're introverted or extroverted, or if you're sensing or intuitive. But generally speaking, feelers are going to have it easier than thinkers, and judgers are going to have it easier than perceivers. So basically, if the last 2 letters in your type are F and J, this is going to be a whole lot easier for you. Now, for the rest of the personality types, you just need to figure out and recognize what your challenges are going to be. And you just work on them over time. So what are some of those challenges? So if you have a T, if you're a T, and especially if you are an NT, if your type has an NT in it, generally you have a problem with humility. I know this firsthand as I'm an NT myself, unfortunately, but NTs, they're just information hogs, and they definitely come across as know-it-alls. I would say STs like information too. Some of them can be a little bit over the board, but generally speaking, I would consider STs more confident, while NTs are generally pretty arrogant. So it's probably easier for STs than NTs, but it's probably still more difficult for both of those compared to a feeler. Now, I'll also add that NTs are the least likely to ask for help. Even when they know deep down that they need it, they're the least likely to admit they've made a mistake, and they often double down on their mistakes. So these folks, they're basically too smart for their own good, and they're kind of in their own way. It kind of reminds me of that Mark Twain quote, "The danger is not in not knowing, but in thinking that you know something that just ain't so." This applies to Ts in general, but especially NTs. Then you have Ps, and I think the long-term discipline and focus required for the FIRE route, any personality type that has Ps, they're just going to have a hard time, because staying the course by nature, it's difficult for Ps to do. They don't like deadlines. They have a hard time staying disciplined and executing the same thing over and over again. P's, they like variety. They love constantly consuming new information. And although the variety is a spice of life, keeping open loops and consuming information is not necessarily a bad thing. But when it comes to markets, when it comes to reaching your financial independence, the focus should really be on execution. And when you have someone who constantly craves variety, consumes too much information, it can be just debilitating. For financial independence, you don't need to know too much. You just need to be able to stay the course and focus on execution. And that's where P's are really going to struggle. So in wrapping this up, I put together my own rank of the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types. It isn't something official, just my perspective on it. So here we go. The following 4 types, in my view, are going to have it the easiest: ISFJ, INFJ, ESFJ, ENFJ. Then you have the next rung down, which will probably be able to do that, but there'll be more challenges: ESTJ, ISTJ, ENTJ, and INTJ. Then you have the next rung down, which will have even more challenges: ESTP, ISTP, INFP, ISFP. And then you have the last 4 at the very bottom, which is bordering on extremely difficult to do. So INTP, ENTP, ENFP, ESFP. Now, I have seen the personality types in the bottom rung do the fire road, and I even have some of them as clients, but in all honesty, it's just not very common. Now, I don't want people to think, oh no, I have the wrong personality type, there's no hope for me. There's a place for willpower here, right? Being able to work on your weaknesses. By my own ranking system, my personality type is not the ideal type, but I was able to work on my weaknesses and change them over time, and the same thing goes for you. If you're determined enough and are willing to be patient enough over time, it can be done. And if you know your Myers-Briggs personality type, let me know in the comment section below. I love to know and learn your thoughts. Thanks for watching. If you liked this content and found it helpful, feel free to share this with your friends and family. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you get notified of new videos as they're released. And if you've made up your mind, you've decided you want to become a client and start on your road to financial independence, head on over to our website and fill out the requirements form. The URL is listed in the description below. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.